Good morning, everyone. It's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your bonus read for Saturday the 3rd of November. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. I'm still overawed at the people who write to me and loving all your comments, where you're from. So please keep doing it. I hope that I don't get too big, that I don't get too much time to do that, because it's a real pleasure for me. So I'll keep doing it for as long as I can. And there is a lot of comments. So I'm about 4,200 now, so it's huge for me. And I think more than that, it's about the comments where people say, you know, your meanings, your readings meant this to me. And I think sometimes when I'm reading, you know, how many people are out there listening that this will resonate with, and sometimes, you know, so many people write back and say, this was my reading, this was my reading. So I don't know, I figure even if I reach one person, somebody's getting an answer they've been looking for. So thank you. I do really appreciate each and every one of you. I just listened to my voice on the other tape though, and I'm so crackly in the morning. I sound like a little old lady. I'm not so little. I might be old, but I'm not so little. So yeah, please excuse my crackly voice, but I sort of get out of bed in the morning, and before I've even had a cup of tea, I get straight into the readings because I've got a little bit of a routine. But I'm thinking what I need to do in the morning is probably, I drink water. I always drink water when I first wake up, but perhaps I need to have a nice cup of tea before I start. So Saturday, I get to go and see my kids today, and I get to have a normal day. I've got very few readings on today, and I'm not working, so it's actually a weekend off for me. I don't have any fares. I have a few readings but no fares, so I'm really looking forward to taking the time out. I am, however, getting booked for readings now on the internet, so I figure things will get a bit busy, and one day I can give away my real job. I shouldn't say real job. Maybe some day I can give away the job that is more permanent. I don't know how to say that. Maybe I can just do the work I love to do. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, cards are ready, folks. Alrighty, beautiful. All right, we have the Five of Swords coming out here. You know, I dreamed about this card last night. It's really funny because, you know, sometimes Spirit will bring messages through my dreams, because I try to cover as many meanings as I can for cards, but very often Spirit will come through, sometimes in lucid dreaming, sometimes in full dreaming, just to explain to me other reasons for having this card. So I realise why it's come up now this morning. The Five of Swords is a card that talks about having sort of like an empty victory. It's like you've won, and you'll hear me say this all the time, it's like you've won the battle but you haven't won the war, or you've won the war, not the battle. And very good example of this is, you know, sometimes when we're really angry, we lash out very spitefully, we hurt people, and then we realise we haven't got them as friends anymore because we've been so rash with the way we've behaved. That sort of thing. Now, they may have deserved it. I'm not saying that. You may have lashed out in a right way. But it's sort of like you stand there afterwards and think, well, hang on a moment. I've spoken my truth and now I have no friend. So it's sort of like that feeling. So it could be today, especially because in the What's Cracking, there was a Queen of Swords that came up that had quite a spiteful energy at the beginning. And I feel like someone's, you know, ready to sort of lash out today. So just be cautious that if you're going to lash back, that you're really comfortable with doing that. If you're going to speak your piece, that you're really, you're doing it from a place where you know what the repercussions of that are. Because for me, that card is really, really, I can see a lot of meanings behind it, because I've had sort of similar experiences where I've cut people off and then afterwards, you know, questioned whether it was the right thing to do or not. And I know in the moment it was, but then afterwards I think, well, you know, could I have spoken to them about it? Could I have, you know, talked about how I was feeling and hoped that they would understand, that type of thing? Because I do, I lash out. My emotions are great. I'm pretty placid sort of a person, but when I'm hurt or I'm threatened, have a bit of a fear of abandonment, so I tend to sort of lash out a little bit at people. And here you are walking away. So we've got the Five of Swords here with the Eight of Cups following that. So something is going to happen where you're going to feel that you need to walk away from something today. So just be aware of that. The Eight of Cups talks about going away to sort of look inside. You've got the moon here. So it's sort of like you're looking inside to see what exactly you want in life, because you have all of this stuff, but maybe you don't have the one thing that you're wanting. So very relevant to come up after the Five of Swords there. And then there's a King of Wands. So you could be dealing with a Leo, Aries or Sagittarius here. You're actually walking towards this person. So it may be that this person is a friend or someone who's going to give you a little bit of a, you know, a hug and make sure you're okay. But you're definitely walking towards this King of Wands. I don't think this is the threat to you. And it's beautiful because, look, I love how the cards tell a story. So he's walking towards this King of Wands character. And the King of Wands, you know, I mean, we always say he's a very attractive sort of man in his finery. He's often good looking, he's sexy, passionate. It could be someone that you know who's a friend. You could have had an argument with someone, but if you have a look, he's sort of like, oh my God, did that really happen to you? Oh, really? So he's walking, whoever is walking away from something is walking towards this person. But I feel that the advice to them might be to get away from it altogether. So the advice is, this is the Six of Swords. So it's like you've now got the Five Swords that you've had in the beginning plus an extra one in your boat, which is your Ace of Swords. So you're just off there into the ether. So I feel like there's sort of like some sort of altercation that's going to take place. You might seek solace from someone who is a fire sign. But to be honest with you, I think you've obviously realised you've made the decision, the right decision in moving away from this person. You may not have realised this. This is why you might have had to go to someone for advice. But you're definitely realising here it's the right thing to do. Yeah, you're sad about it. You're very sad about it. You're feeling quite spiritually low about this. But I feel like when I look at these, it's the right thing to do. You've moved away from something that doesn't serve you and you've cut it out of your life, you know, and we've all had to do that. Even when we've loved someone very deeply, we've had to leave them behind. So that is what's happening here. Okay, so now you bring yourself into balance a little bit more. And it could be you've done this because you're in balance too, because sometimes, you know, we get to a point in our lives where we realise we don't have to put up with everybody's crap anymore and we can cut them out. You know, many of us are taught no matter how bad and horrible people are to us, you know, you're still polite to them and you're still nice to them. What a load of hoo-ha. People tell you that because they think that that's the way you behave. It's not how you behave. So I often talk about the ego versus the true person here. If it feels like something you need to do, you have to go with it. You don't listen to what other people tell you. It's not the right thing to do. You do what's best for yourself. And here we are with the Nine of Wands, because this all comes in from politeness and all that sort of crap. But you know what? People who are arses are the ones who tell people this stuff. You know, you have to put up with this stuff, and no matter what happens, you're married to the man. You know, you have to, you know, let people treat you this way because, you know, they're your manager or your boss. What a load of hooey. Nobody should treat you badly, regardless of whether you've been paid for it or not. And then we've got the Nine of Wands. So this is some sort of ongoing situation here. This is not the first time this has occurred. I feel like somebody, and it came up very much in the reading today, so somebody somewhere, or maybe lots of you, are putting up with stuff you shouldn't put up with. You look at you, you're beaten and you're done. It feels to me like you might have gone through this quite a few times now before saying goodbye or sort of putting your boundaries up here. Boundaries are great. You should do that right in the beginning of a relationship or friendship or whatever. You know, you need to tell people what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. Because for some reason we're not very good at doing that and people treat us poorly and we wonder why. It's because you haven't told people you're not willing to deal with it. Sorry, I sound a bit tough this morning. I'm not talking from, well, I am talking from experience, but nothing is going on for me at the moment. The thing is, you have an offer here. You have an Ace of Coins here, and I feel like you're actually giving this to yourself. It's like you've awarded yourself a brand new stable start. I don't know why. That's a really strange feeling to come across with this card. So it's like you've given yourself an opportunity to have a new start here. You've realised self-love. This is a gift you're giving to yourself. Oh, that's really beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so for some of you out there that have been enduring stuff that you really shouldn't have been putting up with, you've now given yourself the gift of a new life, and you've decided that you're moving forward in a very different way here. It's like you're putting your boundaries up, you found your balance, and you're going off to start all over again. But this time, you're doing it for you. I like that. I like it a lot. And there's a celebration here. So we have the Three of Cups coming up here. This is a celebration, and I think you're celebrating life, you're celebrating yourself, and you're extremely happy you've been able to walk away from something. This is really lovely. Oh, I'm almost excited to pick up the next card. Yep, here you are working on your future. So some of you have decided now to stay single. Some of you come out of relationships where you realise you need to be on your own for a while. Some of you have come away from perhaps family situations where people have been bearing down on you, maybe work situations, but whatever it is, you're now working on what you want to work on, and that's yourself and your own life. Very nice. Making yourself a project, and look at this, self-love. So I've got to say to you, if it's someone you're after and you've learned to love yourself this much, someone will come in for you and offer you this. But I feel like at the moment this is about you learning to love yourself very, very strongly in this reading. It's almost like you've just gone, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to look after myself. I've had enough of people treating me poorly. I've had enough of this person I've been with treating me really badly. I deserve more than that, so now I'm going to find myself. Very strong feelings here for a lot of you. So it's about walking away from something that doesn't serve you, and you're doing the right thing. That's very evident here in this Ace of Coins. The Ace of Pentacles, when it came up, that was the feeling I had, like, you know, somebody was just gifting themselves with the universe. I love it. Oh, that card jumped out. Okay, what are we up for? Resurrection. Oh, did you see that, guys? I love it. Okay, so Resurrection has reprise, recovery, and comeback. Oh, sometimes I'm just so overwhelmed by how amazing Spirit is. Someone just threw that card on the deck and it came out upside down. So let me read it to you because I think it's really important for someone to hear this morning. So this is from the Lay Vampire deck. Okay, so the blessing here is this change can be made and swiftly. Ask for assistance and it will be yours. And I think this is why you've got this card of the King of Wands coming up here. I think it's somebody you're going to seek out to give you some advice. Let go now and move swiftly through the transition. Now, in the working with this card, I'm going to hold her up for you. It says it's time to make things happen for yourself. It is time to actively explore what you've always denied yourself the chance to do. For there is a path clearing before you, but requires an enormous amount of determination on your behalf. You must remake yourself. Look within and see what lessons satisfied you, and know that something you thought was overdone with and discarded is truly about to surprise you. So I can tell you here, this is about you giving yourself a gift, and you're giving yourself a gift of self-love, self-respect, and you're walking away from something here. It's amazing, and I think because of this comes out of this, and whether this is self-love or someone offering you love, it's the real thing. It's not something that's abusive, wrong, horrible. I don't know what you've gone through here, but this is truly beautiful. So whether you're giving this to yourself or whether you're waiting for someone else to give it to you, you're definitely heading in the right direction. Thanks, everyone.